No. We're not doing this again. Hey, welcome back. Q&A time again. And it's just little bits and pieces out of the last couple of videos that we did. First off, Bill Bowman, this was for you. Bill bought a resin kit. I believe it was the Eleanor magazine. Yeah, magazine. The Eleanor Mustang. And evidently on the rear window it had a joining piece, as some of them will have, and he snipped it and it broke a piece of the chrome off. And I told him how to fix it, and he did a damn good job of it. Now he said, use this as a learning tool for some other dummy. Well, you're not a dummy, buddy, because I did it. Everybody does it. It's one thing to learn. Now all you have to do, in this case, brand new X-Acto blade, and all you want to do is you want to just lightly trace it. Back scribe, as I have showed you with doing the door lines, the trunk lines. All you have to do is just back and forth, and just stay in the line, do the same thing down here, and the piece will come right out. And that way you don't have to worry about it. You'll have to take a little bit of sandpaper and just do the little zippity doo-dah, and you're in hose. When you go to take a pair of side cutters or something to snip this, quite often it'll pull, stretch, and or tear, and that's exactly what happened to Bill. But to his credit, he did a hell of a job fixing it. And hey, that's how we all learn, buddy. Let me see. A young man asked me about acrylic paint and what I thought of it. I used it here and there when I was in the Model Railroad Club. Now, a lot of the guys that were in there, they swore by it. I still prefer the enamels, whether they be flats or gloss and or lacquers, the same, over top the acrylic. I just don't think that you get a smooth enough finish with it, and I'm sure that right now they're starting to light the torches, get the pitchforks, and they're heading for Frankenstein's castle again. But this is, once again, this is my opinion. It leaves a marbled surface, and even when it's wet sanded and cleared over top, you still have that marbling effect underneath of it. And you know, like I said, it's just my opinion. I understand that you know, some individuals have health issues and or spouses that don't want the house smelling, but that's where your paint booth vented out to an outside window. Also for health issues, you know, I always wear gloves when I'm spraying, and unless I'm doing a video where I have to talk and don't want to sound like Kenny from South Park, well, that's when I slap the respirator on, and you're safe that way. Alright, when we were talking about paint booths and using plastic containers and whatnot to, you know, to put your paint jobs in from flashing out, an individual come up with it. Evidently he is building his own booth, which is fine, but he said that he had lined it with wood paneling, wood aluminum foil work in there. Yeah, wood. Now the thing of it is you got to be smooth. You can't have the lines of the paneling, because when you get those folds inside with the aluminum foil, dust, dirt, it'll all catch inside there, and it's got to be clean. Now you could always, you know, put it on something else and slide it in, and that way pull it out, wipe it down, put it back in. And I've used the Reynolds stuff, the good stuff, because it's heavy duty and it won't tear. Okay, 1/10 scale. Why don't you paint 1/10 scale? I have. 1/8 scale too. The problem being is storage and a place to display it. And I've got some 1/8 scale kits here. I've got 1/10, whatever, and I stick with the 1/25, and I don't really have a lot of room to display or to store them. Hence, the shop is going to receive a major upgrade here in the next couple, probably this weekend. We're going to have to mount more cabinets. They're medical cabinets. They're hermetically sealed. This way the bodies, the builds, everything goes in there. The doors slide shut. They're rubber sealed on them, and they're protected from the dust and dirt. I just don't have enough room. Hey, 110 scale guys, start your own channel and start cranking them out. That's what YouTube's for. So, Mr. Wooten, Mr. Nobody, who's really somebody. You asked about pearl paint. My suggestion, especially if you're using an airbrush, you can use any color for your base coat. Pearl X is sold Michael's local art supply store, and you can order it online. You can get a set. I think it's $53. You get I think 32 small containers. Take it knife blade wise and just scoop a little bit, dump it into mixed clear with your thinner in it, shake it up and apply it in light mist coats. It's the best thing I find going, because the Pearl X is the flake is to scale. Now naturally they've got some that are the bass boat variety, and they have their uses also, but the Pearl X powders themselves, they are to scale. They're easy to work with, and however you want the color to be, you just have to dump a little bit more or a little less Pearl X in it over whatever corresponding base coat you want to run it over top of. Let's see. Tom, he's confused. Whether or not I use primer. Now, when testers decided to run the ship into the rocks and sink it, I purchased a tremendous amount of the Model Master line and all the other colors. And if I am shooting a standard color on a body, it's prepped. All my bodies are prepped up to 12,000. This is with enamel now. This is with the enamel. I will shoot it directly onto the plastic. If I have done a decent amount of body work or something else like on a body, and I want to make sure everything's copacetic before I hit it with the color, I will use I'll use the enamel primer, because it fills the scratches in and everything else like that. Now, when it comes to underneath the metallics, the enamels, the metallics and the pearls, I will use aluminum or gold as a base coat, and that gives me that reflection coming back through the metallics. But primer's a choice. I prep up to 12,000. Like I said, standard color, shoot it right on. If I go to use a metallic or a pearl, I'll use an aluminum. Now, if I remember reading correctly the other day, Mr. Guest at MCW Finishes has pretty much filled out, from what I saw, 7 pages worth of colors from the to match up with the old Testers line. And the aluminum, which I have and I have used, is excellent for putting under your metallics or pearls. Let's see, how many paint coats? The number. I use a multitude of light mist coats. Too often I see guys will say, hey, I put 3 coats of color down and 2 coats of clear. It's not going to last you if you have to polish it out. You don't have to lay it on thick enough that you can take a spatula and peel it off, but on the other hand too, you want to have enough to work with, so that if you lay 10 light mist coats down and you wet sand and you take it down to the 7th coat, and then you lay, I don't know, 8, maybe 10 light mist coats of clear over top of it, you got something to work with, and that'll prevent burn through. Nail polish. Yes. Cut it with lacquer thinner, generally 2 to 1. Make sure you move in close. That's another thing that was brought up too. An individual was complaining about pebbly surface when he's using his airbrush. Usually what happens with that is you're shooting too far away and the paint is drying before it hits the surface, hence the pebble. Okay? Anytime you have that, you have to move in closer. Like I said, light, quick mist coats, and that'll make that problem go away. The only thing that I would caution you about with the nail polish is the size of the flake in some of the colors. It's a bit larger, and you'll get what we just mentioned, the bass boat effect, where you've got it, you know, the big metallics in it. It serves its purpose for some, like the bass boat from Revell, but other than that, it's a little bit out of scale. Now, somebody said, old painter's trick. When you if you're worried about it pulling your paint, what you should do is you should put it on your shirt or on your pants and peel it back off and then lay it on your model. What's gonna happen, you got a dog hair on you, got a little fuzz on you, you lay that down, and it goes back to what we were talking about, how if you've got the edge of your tape and you got a hair sticking out here, guess what's gonna happen? I'm sorry, I don't condone that. I understand it's an old trick, yeah, but only in certain circumstances, and this isn't one of them. I'd have to say ixnay on that. Alright, so, like I said, we bounced through this. The Fundamental Fridays seem to be taking off pretty good. We've had a lot of positive comments, and a few negatives, but that goes with the territory. And like Mama Gump says, right? So we will continue with this. I did talk to Mr. Pordini, and I think this Friday, the 65 Novas will be hitting the shelves. I'm looking forward to it. And also that's going to open up the dynamic of the Fundamental Fridays too. We got some stuff coming down the pike on that. So, happy Thursday to you. And it'll be Fundamental Friday in another day or so. And we'll just keep rolling with this. God bless y'all. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your kind comments. It's greatly appreciated. And we're just going to keep whacking away at this as time goes on. Until then, God bless. Have a great weekend. Y'all take care of yourselves. Be safe. It's the old man, and I'm out.